Hello everybody and welcome. I hope you're all well. Today we're going to be looking at two modules that we've looked at before, but we've never used them together. We're going to be looking at the Dht11 temperature and humidity module. Now we have used that before and we've shown the data output in the serial monitor and on a liquid crystal display. Well, liquid crystal displays are becoming quite old hat really, and now we have the OLED, the organic liquid emitting diode. We've looked at that, but all we've ever done with that is just drawn some shapes and hello and milliseconds. But I want to show you how we read the data from Dht11 and then display it onto the OLED. Okay, so let's go to here. Let's go to here. So here's my OLED. All right. If you haven't seen it before, it's got 4 pins, right? Got a ground, VCC, which is 3.3 volts. It's then got the SCL, the clock, and the SDA, which is the data. Right, so that's our OLED. This is quite a small one. We are going to be using this quite a bit in the future. That's why I really want to show this. And then we got our Dht11. You've got several versions of these. You've got the Dht22. The only real difference is the Dht22 is more accurate. It's more accurate. And this has got 4 pins. All right, this has got 4 pins. It's got VCC, which is 3.3 volts. We then got the data pin. The 3rd pin we don't use, and the 4th pin is ground. Right, so what I'm going to do, first thing we'll do, we'll put in the circuit. All right, we'll put in the circuit. So as you can see, I've got my circuit set up. Now what we've got the 4 pins. I'm going to do the sensor first, the Dht11. The leftmost pin, all right, goes to 3.3 volts, which on mine is the blue rail. And then the second one from the left, we put in a resistor, all right, a 10k ohm resistor. On the second one, I've gone across the trench. Mine is different to the schematic because the schematic goes straight to the 3.3 volts. What I'm going to do, go from the second leg to the left, transistor. I've gone across the channel. I'm then going to take a red cable, go from there. All right. And then I'm going to go to 3.3 volts. Like so. Right, then I'm going to take a yellow cable and the same column, the second from the left. I am going to go from pin 14, GPIO 14 on my ESP32, and I'm going to go into the same row. All right, so in that row, that second row, we've got the GPIO pin 14, we've got the resistor, and we got the 3.3 volts. Then we miss the 3rd leg from the left or the second from the right. And the right hand leg goes from the Dht11 to ground. Okay? Got that so far? Now we're going to move on to the OLED, right? Now we want to go from the leftmost pin. Remember, I've got it facing away from me. The leftmost pin, we want to go to ground. The rightmost pin, sorry, the next one along, second, we go from that pin and we go to 3.3 volts. So far, so good. Then we're going to be using GPIO 21 and GPIO 22. Right, the green GPIO 22. Okay, goes from a GPIO 22 to SCL, the clock. Right, then we got our next pin, goes from GPIO 21, and that goes to the data. All right, so that is our circuit build. That is our circuit build. So let's now go across to our Arduino IDE. Right, okay, here we are at our IDE. Okay, at our IDE. First thing we need to do, is load a new sketch. Remember how we do that? File, new sketch. All right, open a new sketch and make sure we're on the correct board. Right, we're on the correct board. I'm on my second dev module, okay, on COM5. Now, first thing we need to do is we need to load some libraries. All right, and first one we need to load is SSD1306. All right, and the one we need is this one here, Adafruit SSD1306 by Adafruit. So you need to install that. We need to install that. All right, the next one we need to do is a GFX. All right, and it's the Adafruit GFX library by Adafruit, and we need to install that. Now the next one is we need the DHT sensor library. All right, so there we go. We've got DHT, and we need the Adafruit one again. If we come down, okay, and we need the DHT sensor library ESPX. All right, okay, I've installed this one. It's for the Dht11 and the Dht22. All right, and then there's one more. There's one more we need to do, and it's the unified. Right, the unified library, and you need the Adafruit. Sorry, not that one. That was for a different project. Where is it? Ah, there we go. You need the Adafruit unified sensor by Adafruit. Okay, and that's the one there. So that's the libraries we need. All right, good. So hopefully you remember how to open and close your library manager with that there. Right, let's get on with some coding. Let's get on with our sketch. Now, obviously, we've got to include them libraries. So it's hashtag include space less than, and the first one we need is wire.h. Okay, greater than, enter. Hashtag include space less than, and the first one is the Adafruit underscore GFX dot H greater than, enter. Hashtag include space less than, and it's the Adafruit underscore SSD SSD1306 H. Okay, that's for the OLED. All right, greater than hashtag. Sorry, greater than. Enter. Oh dear. Hashtag include space less than. And the next one is the sensor library. So it's Adafruit underscore sensor .h greater than. Enter. Hashtag one more. Okay, it's for the DHT sensor. Include less than DHT capitals .h greater than. That's our libraries. That is our libraries. Now, what we need to do, whatever size screen OLED you've got, okay, we need to define the size, or in pixels. All right, so it's hashtag define space screen, all capitals, underscore its width. All right, so we want our screen width. Mine is 128. All right, and then we need to define screen underscore height. All right, HEIGHT. My height is 64. Okay, so far. So we've done the height. Now we need the declaration for our SSD1306 display and connected to ICL and IDA. All right. Sorry, SDA and SCL. So enter. Let's put a space in there. Adafruit, capital A, underscore, SSD, capitals, 1306. Display, brackets on, screen, all capitals, underscore, width, comma, space, screen, underscore, height, comma, space, and wire. So it's and capital W on the wire, comma, -1 from outside the brackets, semicolon. Right. So that. Now we need to define our DHT pin. So it's hashtag define space DHT pin, all capitals, and we put that on 14. Right, okay. Now we need to define our DHT type. Okay, so it's hashtag define. Now it depends which sensor type you've got. The main two are Dht11 and Dht22, but there is a Dht21. I've never used one, but anyway. Dht type, all capitals. Would be spared if I could spell type, T-Y-P-E. All right. And that's a space, DHT, capitals, 11. So far, so good. Space. Let's come down a bit so we can see where we're at. so we can see where we're at. And now, here we go, DHT, space, small DHT, so it's capital DHT, small DHT, brackets on, all right, DHT pin, capitals, comma, space, DHT, type. All right, come outside the brackets, semicolon, enter. All right, let's now bring this up. We're going to go into our void setup. So that's all our variables and objects created. So we're now in our void setup. It goes between the two curly brackets. Things that we want to run only once. I'm going to take that out. All right. And the first thing we want to run only once is serial.begin. Brackets on. 115200. That's our serial.begin. Serial.begin. Come outside the brackets. Semicolon. Right, why does that not change colour? serial.begin. Void setup. Brackets on, brackets off. Okay. I think should be all right. Ah, I see why. Get rid of that. It's a comma. Just checking my code. DHT type, comma, serial.begin. Good, it's changed colour. Right, enter. DHT begin. Brackets on, brackets off. Come outside the brackets, semicolon, enter. And now we have an if statement. Now the default address for a OLED display is 0 times 3 capital C. That is the default address. If, brackets on, exclamation mark, display dot begin, brackets on, SSD 1306 underscore. Now this is all capital, so it's switch CA VCC CA, sorry, P VCC, comma, space, and then it's 0 times 3 D, and that's our address. All right, come outside the brackets, come outside the brackets, space, no semicolon, curly brackets, enter. Serial dot print line, and then for line, it's on quotes. Remember, anything in the quotes will be printed. SSD1306 allocation failed. So if we don't connect to the SSD1306, it will fail. Right, now let's come back a bit because I've just seen an error. Brackets on, capital F. Come back to the end. Brackets off, semicolon, enter. And then it's 4. Brackets on. And it's semicolon, semicolon, Come outside the brackets, semicolon. Come outside the for loop, the if command, enter. All right, so let's enter that. So that is our if command. Then we want a delay. Space, comma. 2 seconds says 2000 milliseconds. Come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. Display. Dot. Clear. Display. Capital D on the display. All right. Brackets on, brackets off. Come outside the brackets, semicolon, enter. Now we need to set the text color. We need to set the text color. Let's come down a bit. Come down. So display. Dot. Set. Text. Color. All bumpy text, okay? All bumpy text. Capital T, capital C. Color is spelt the American way. Brackets on, and it's all capitals, white. Come outside the brackets, semicolon. There we go. That's our void setup. All right, that is our void setup. Come outside the setup curly brackets. Now we're going to go into the void loop. Take that out. And let's put a few spaces in here so we've got a bit of room. Enter. So we're in the void loop. Things we want to happen all the time, all right? Continually. First of all, in here we want a delay. And in that delay, we're going to make it 5 seconds. We do everything in milliseconds. That's 5,000. Come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. Now we're going to set up read temperature and humidity. All right, let's go down another one. So we're going to use float. T for temperature. Float equals Dht dot read temperature, capital T. All right. Read temperature. Brackets on, brackets off, come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. The next is read humidity. So it's float. H. Space equals Dht. All small case, dot, read humidity. Capital H on the humidity. Brackets on, brackets off, come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. Now we got an if space. Brackets on. ISNAN. Brackets on H. Come outside the brackets. Space. Straight line, straight line. Space, ISNAN. Brackets on, T. Come outside the brackets. Come outside the brackets. Space. No semicolons. Curly brackets, enter. Come down a bit. Serial dot print line. And then for the line, brackets on, and it's quotes. Anything inside them quotes is printed. Allowed to read from Dht sensor. Exclamation mark. Come outside the quotes, come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. All right. Now then, let's come outside of the if command. Enter. Enter. And then what we're going to have here is a display.clear display. Excuse me. And it's brackets on, brackets off. Come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. All right. So what that is, that's all the commands that if that's one of the sensors not working, the sensor's not working, DHT, it will show that it's failed. It will show that it's failed and there's something wrong. Normally, there's something wrong with the circuit. Normally. Right, display. Dot. Set. Text. Size. All right. Brackets on. 1. Come outside the bracket. Semicolon. Enter. What we're doing here, this is how we're going to display the temperature. And the reason I wanted to do this is to show you that we have to set where the cursor is, where we want to print the information and how we set up the cursors. All right. So we've done our text size. So we want it at 1. Display. Now remembering, depending on your display, right, you may have to experiment with this, maybe make the text size larger if you've got a larger display. All right. Don't think you can get anything smaller than the one I've got. All right. Display, set cursor. All right. We want to set the cursor at 0. So brackets on 0, comma, 0. So right at the top left, semicolon, enter. And so next, display. Dot print. Brackets on. Quotes, temperature. Right, so that will be printed. Quotes. Space. Come outside the quotes, come outside the brackets. Semicolon, enter. Let's come down a bit. You can all see. Next, display. Dot. Set. Text. Size. Remember your bumpy text, guys. Remember your bumpy text. Brackets on 2. Come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. Now we want to set the next cursor. Display. All right. Dot. Set. Cursor. Okay. Brackets on. And it's 0, comma, 10. That's 10 pixels across. Okay. Come outside the brackets, curly bracket, semicolon, enter. Display. Dot. Print. Brackets on. T. Come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. E for temperature. Display dot print. Display.print, brackets on, quotes, space, come outside the quotes, come outside the brackets, semicolon, enter. Next line. Display. Dot. Set. Text. Size. All right, set text size. Don't forget your bumpy text. Brackets on. 1, come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. And now display dot, and it's CP437. All right, brackets on, true. Come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. Display dot right, brackets on, 167. Come outside the brackets, semicolon, enter. All right. That's all to do with the setting the size, the CP437. Okay, setting that true, and the display dot right at 167. So it's display dot set text size. Again, bumpy text, brackets on, 2, come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. And because we want it in centigrade, display dot print, brackets on, quotes, C, come outside the quotes, come outside the brackets, semicolon. So that's all for the temperature. All for the temperature. We're now going to do humidity. We're going to display the information for the humidity. Display dot set text size, brackets on, 1, come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. Display dot set cursor, brackets on. Now we want it on 35, so it's 0, comma, space, 35. Remembering again, depends on the display size of your display. You may want to play with it, move it around, all right, and change these values. All right. Next, it's display dot print, brackets on, quote, humidity. Come outside the quotes. Just seeing what I've done wrong there. Play.print, humidity. Okay. We need to put some quotes in there, space, come outside the quotes. Sorry, colons, space, come outside the quotes, come outside the brackets, semicolon, enter. Get this out of the way. And a few more lines, guys. Display dot set text size. Remember, in your bumper text, brackets on, and it's 2. Come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. Then now we're going to set the next cursor. Set the cursor. Brackets on, 0, comma, space, 45. Come outside the brackets, semicolon, enter. And then display dot print. Okay, brackets on, H, for humidity. Come outside the bracket, semicolon, enter. Display dot print. Brackets on, quote, space, percent. Come outside the quotes, come outside the brackets, semicolon, enter. And we'll do another little enter there, and we'll put display dot display. Semicolon. Sorry, brackets on, brackets off, come outside the brackets, semicolon. Right, and that's our sketch. And that's our sketch. Let's have a little bit of a tidy up. Let me just go through, check all the semicolons, check all of the colours. Make sure we've got no all whites. Okay. Right, should we try uploading it? Let's try uploading it. Okay, compiling the sketch. Let's get back to where I can check my notes if we've got any issues. Compiling the sketch. So, guys, I don't know if I said, but if you haven't got all your sensors, your kits, your displays, I've got a couple of links down below, and there you can get them all. Right, let me see what's wrong with this one. Right, Adafruit _ SSD1306 base display, screen width, screen height, and wire -1. So what's the problem there? Compilation error, unexpected ID before token. Begin. DHT. The full stop. Okay, dot begin. Try again. Try it again. Let's try it again. Yeah, as I was saying, I've got a couple of links down below. They are affiliate links. I don't get a lot. But it does help towards me buying new equipment. Like I've just had to buy a new microphone because my previous one stopped working. That wasn't cheap. A microphone's not cheap. Okay. Oh, here we go again. Adafruit. SSD display. Screen width, screen height. -1. Got it? It's a comma. Oh, sorry about this, guys. Weren't expecting so many mistakes, but still. It's a comma. Did pick it up last time, actually, but I thought it was all to do with the error here. So we're compiling. So we are moving on to more exciting things in the future. The last couple of videos we did Wi-Fi and internet. So we are going to be looking more at the internet side of things, IoT, right? Internet of Things, it's called. We'll be moving on to that sort of stuff in the next few videos. Right. Our sketch seems to be okay. And we're uploading. Cool. We're uploading. Let's have a look. Let's go to overhead. And there we go. Hopefully you can see that. You can see that. So what we've achieved. This is what we've achieved. We've achieved to take the sensor readings from the Dht11 and display them onto our OLED, right? Our organic liquid emitting diode. Say before we just put patterns and bits and bobs on it. But no, here we are. As you can see, 27.10 is the temperature. Okay, very hot here in my little room in Spain. And the humidity is 71.00%. We've got the centigrade and the percent. And that's why we've done this, because I wanted to show you how we take the input of a sensor. You can use whatever sensor you like. You don't have to use a Dht11 and display it on our OLED display. Okay. So anyway, great to have you on board. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Okay. Please don't forget, give us a thumbs up, subscribe and comment below. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.